Alright, turn 29. It's been, well, it's been a turn for sure. It's been a good turn and it's been a bad turn. So, on the good side, I found 2 magic sites, including an air site and a death site, a really good death site. Graveyard of the Damned is fantastic. So my death income is up to 6, and my air income is up by 1. On the downside, 2 things. First of all, there was a battle in Agenor, so I was attacking Independence there. That was my scout just bouncing off this throne. This is definitely the Throne of the Sun. I can't think of anything else it would be with this kind of defense. There's over 90 Fire Snakes, a Solar Serpent, a Fire 7, Air 4, a Flame Spirit, all this shit in it. Tons and tons of troops. Many of them were actually killed by the Fire Snake's heat aura, but basically in order to take this throne, I have to have fire resistance. I don't have another option. Now, if I have a guy who's heavily thugged out and has a bunch of fire resistance, I could just clear this throne no problem. But as Lanka, of course, I have trouble with fire resistance, so this is a bit of an issue. I might end up having to send in a really big army and accept grievous casualties in order to take it. And then I was attacked in Lake Seaweed, just randomly. And I was attacked by a fucking ton of Tritons. Like a lot of Tritons. This is like 60 Tritons. And they just rampaged right over my province defense, like without even slowing down. It was disgusting. I was obliterated. In no time flat. So Lake Seaweed, I have lost. This is literally it was almost 60 Tritons. So fuck that. And then there was also, of course, a battle in Cyboria where I was attacked by a group of knights unexpectedly. And once again, it was a big-ass group of knights. This is, I'll check in the battle report, it was a lot of knights. Now, I happened to have an army here, this army that was moving through, you know, heading up to reinforce. And as a consequence, I actually did win. The Marcata kind of distracted the knights a lot here, but I lost all of my Asrapas, because my Asrapas took lance charges, which is something they are very bad at doing, having only 1 protection. My blood mages who were blood hunting summoned a bunch of imps, which distracted the knights, and the knights got dragged down and cut to pieces, which is fine. But in the process, I lost, like I said, my whole army. Yeah, it was 22 knights, almost the maximum possible number of knights. Absolutely revolting. My Asrapas got 12 kills for 8 casualties. Of course, so did my Atavi infantry, so, you know, what does that say about things? And my Palankasha killed 1 knight and then got lanced in the face and died. Yeah, it was really irritating, to be honest. And then a bunch of units retreated as well, of course, because they got lanced. So, unfortunate. We killed a black harpy patrolling in, Lanka, actually, I believe this was. No, Cormac. In Cormac? Oh, yes, they've... this is my blood patrol. I have, like, over 100 units patrolling in Cormac. And at Brissia, I captured a bunch of blood slaves. This was really, really good. And then we got to watch a couple of battles, including Pangaea, besieging Sauromatia. So this is the beginning of the end for Sauromatia, I believe. Actually, the beginning of the end was a while back. I think this is, like, the culmination of the end. So this is just a little bit of Sauromatian PD, not a whole lot. And over here we have a Pangaean army, mainly comprised of a fuck ton of Maenads. Which is fair, because Maenads are free spawn from their pans, so you might as well use them. They're not great, but they're free chaff. His pans, of course, have the high nature and earth paths. They're all actually earth 3. He also has a Pandemoniac here, and then another earth 3 pan back there. Whole bunch of Centauride Hierophantides. I don't know why he's bringing so many of them, but he is, and some Centaur Hierophants. The only thing they're really good for is blessing white centaurs and potentially light thugging. And he's got some Centaur and Centauride Cataphracts, mainly Centauride Cataphracts it looks like he's taking for the Javelins. Centaurides are a little bit less strong than the Centaur Cataphracts, but they still have pretty high protection. Centaurides don't wear helmets, I forget if the regular Centaurs do. Centaur Warriors do. But Centaur Warriors, the difference is they go berserk, but have much lower prot. The Cataphracts have higher prot armor, but don't berserk. So, you know, kind of a trade-off in that way. In any case, this is actually a pretty significant army. And they're casting... What are they casting? They're not casting AoE buffs, that's for sure. In any case, yeah, Sauromatia did not last long. They got a few arrow kills, but they soon got swarmed by Maenads and destroyed. So those pans, what are they casting, actually? So we've got... Skin Removal Technician, the Chieftain, I love it. We have many, many Maenads to scroll past. Lost a few of them. Got some kills there. The pans... Protection, Iron Skin, Temper Flesh, Enlarge, and then Flying Shards. So they're just self-buffing. And this Demoniac was just casting Enlarge. So they're casting a lot of Enlarge. Interesting. Who are they enlarging? Are they just enlarging themselves? Were they enlarging Ictiids? They were enlarging the Centauride Hierophantites. I don't know why they were doing this, but they were doing it for sure. His Bless is Morale +1. So his god isn't awake yet. But he's got Liquid Body, Temper Flesh, Enlargement on... Liquid Body or Temper Flesh, Enlargement, Protection, some kind of buffs on all of his Centauride Hierophantides. Maybe he's planning on using them as, like, shock troops? That doesn't make any sense, though, especially because these aren't even the melee ones. These are the Centaurides. These are the ones that are not good at the melee. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why that's happening. He's also enlarged all his pans, so maybe they're just doing it to have something to do. But in any case, Sauromatia is now under siege and unlikely to break loose, I would say. If those pans bring gems and lay down some AoE buffs, they could make these Maenads very, very scary. Now, Sauromatia may be planning to just defend itself with infinite Skelospam into the door of the fort, which could very well work. Like, they've instantly cracked the fort, but if he attacks next turn into the teeth of infinite Skelospam, he could definitely lose if there's a bunch of Inari inside Sauromatia. That said, Sauromatia is now dead. All of their territory, it looks like, has been occupied, so rip Broken 25. I appreciate you taking the bullet for me. Good luck in the next life. In any case, I'm moving Mort over here. We're reanimating a whole bunch of Long Dead Warriors because I'm fucking taking back Lake Seaweed. Also, for some reason, the Swimming Men, there's 25 of them and they only demanded 22 pounds of gold for employment. I'm bidding 72 just in case somebody, like, over here is going to snap them up. And then I'm going to I want to use them to help take back Lake Seaweed. I'm also just gathering a shit ton of Soulless and Long Dead, and I'm going to pour them down into Lake Seaweed, and I will fucking leave them there. These provinces, the income effect of these provinces is huge, and I want it. In fact, I refuse to give it up. I will have that back. Up here, we're recruiting another Mage of Autumn. This Mage of Autumn is starting to site search to get me some Earth Gems. Delicious, delicious Earth Gems. We have broken this fort and are assaulting in Rasenna. These guys are holding and attacking. These guys are holding and firing large. You can also hold and fire large. My Sacreds are holding on for one turn to get blessed, and then they'll be going in, even though their stats are shit right at the moment, because they have the -3 Chaos power. And we're also sending in Bandar Warriors ahead of them to absorb the damage at the start of the fight. So, that will be the plan. They will have Jotun Hurlers up on the walls. I'm hoping they don't have hardly anything else inside, and my Bandar can just get up on the walls and start beating on Jotun Hurlers to stop them from throwing quite so many rocks. And if they can do that, then I think we'll have a decent shot at it. Gordiel moving back here and then doubling up into Wick Forest to site search there. And Tianchi is polishing off that Niflheimish fort. And I have been working on gathering the coalition against New Satis. He's got a whole bunch of Long Dead of Satis and Long Dead Warriors. He's recruiting some Desert Rangers. He, of course, has a number of Sorrowmancers, as well as his Tomb Chariots and Tomb Kings. I think I can probably do something here. I think I can work with this. I think it'll work out all right. I think it'll be okay. I've contacted... I've got Nazca and Mictlan both interested in going in. Mictlan is saying turn 35. Nazca seems to be playing on about 3 turns. So we'll see what we can do. He does have a citadel for New Satis as his fort, and he's got a castle over here, so he's busy upgrading that. That's merely a palisade. That's a fortress. I, of course, can only go up 2 forts, so I have fort, and about to have fort. I would love another fort or 2, but This looks like it might be a relatively easy target. I'm going to actually launch Asvala in to attack that as well, so I can just retreat. Thank you. Just so I can see what they got. And retreat way, way at the back, because otherwise those vampires will fuck you up. And I don't know where the scout from Agenor... Nope, I don't need to view that battle. Actually, we can view that battle if you want. It's kind of an impressive look over here. The huge swarms of flame creatures. So yeah, like these Will-O-the-Wisps, they have high defense skill but 0 prot, and they rely on ethereality. So if you have a magic weapon, you can beat them up pretty bad. Fire snakes, they do some damage, but mainly they're threatening because of the heat aura, which fatigues you out and potentially sets you on fire. And then we've got the scorpion beasts, which also do some damage, and they have death poison on their tails. So you really want to be poison resistant as well. Mehen the Solar Serpent is leading this army. Fire 7, Air 4. He could well cast Firestorm or something. I don't know. Actually, I think Indies can only cast spells up to research level 6. And we've got Bogliod. What a name, the Flame Spirit. So yeah, who is accompanied by 1d6 of these Will-O-the-Wisps. So yeah, they just charged forward, my scout ran away, and the heat aura actually burned a few of their own units to death, which is always hilarious. I could actually whittle this throne down pretty significantly just by doing this, by bouncing a scout off it every turn. Which I'm sorely tempted to do, to be honest. Where did the scout actually retreat to? Retreated to Saboria. And then what? Oh, I think the battles got resolved. Yeah, and then he retreated to Digmore. That's hilarious. He retreated from one battle into another battle. Like, instantly. Okay, yeah, just keep bouncing off Agenor. Let's see how many of their own units we can get them to burn. I just want to burn down as many of their own units as possible. We'll put him slightly further forward so that he gives them a little bit more burning time before he runs. Down over here, I am still recruiting Atavi archers, which I don't necessarily need. I will keep that Atavi chieftain. Atavi chieftains are useful to be recruiting. And up here I have Atavi chieftains as well, which I'm going to start infiltrating into other people's territory as scouts. They also have Jaguar tribe priests, which have a 10% random with some pretty cool paths, but it's only 10%, and you're just as likely as not to get, like, fucking fire or something, which isn't very helpful. On top of that, they would require a lab and a temple, and unless I also build a fort here, they would be slow to recruit, so not gonna bother with that. We'll just keep pumping out the expensive scouts, aka Atavi chieftains, see what we can do with them. And yeah, I think that's the turn. We are definitely preparing for the war against New Cetis. It's been slowed down somewhat. Things have been reduced in urgency because we have to go fucking take this back, because it's like almost 10% of our entire income. We will take Rasenna and settle in there. We may well begin blood hunting Bergamum as quick as we can. We may actually put another fort in Bergamum so that we can blood hunt Wick Forest as well, and just trash as many of our provinces as possible for slaves. Stainless Steel, moving over here to site search. We have recruited Damn Right, the Raksharaja. All these Raksharajas are actually moving north, because they're going to start recruiting Asrapas somewhere closer to the front lines. So we're going to get them over into Rasenna. We're going to build a temple in Rasenna so that we can start spreading our Turmoil Dominion as much as we can. And we're going to start churning out demons here in Rasenna to help push into New Cetis. Demons and undead, specifically. I would love to be reanimating. Speaking of reanimating, we are beginning to recruit Kalamukas from the capital, because I think I have enough Raksharajas for right now. I've got, I think, 5 of them. Yeah, I've got 5 Raksharajas. The non-stop pop right there, Stainless Steel there, and then here we've got Real Go Hard and Damn Right. So, that's enough for the moment. Funnily enough, they are almost all the same random. They are almost all Blood 3. The only one that's not Blood 3 is the non-stop pop who randomed Death 2. All of the rest are Air 2, Death 1, Blood 3, aka the least useful random right at the moment. But we should hit Construction level 4 and Blood level 4 before we go into battle, which will enable me to drop Bloodlust, which will be a great little buff, and it'll also let me summon Rakshasa warriors, who of course have Prot, which otherwise I don't really have. Now, New Cetis, we've talked about the fact that Nucitus has fire through their Sorrowmancers. They don't have amazing fire access, especially because Sorrowmancers are slow to recruit. But they can get some fire communions going, and they can get fire 2 randoms. Reborn also have fire level 1. So they can't exploit my fire weakness ruthlessly, but they can exploit it to some extent. However, mainly what they have is death. And a little bit of astral and earth, but not much at all. And their only 2 mages are Reborn and Sorrowmancers, actually. Well, and they also have Empoisoners. Empoisoners are mages, and they are assassins, and they can be quite distressing, because they can just fucking assassinate everybody. I don't know if he's been recruiting a lot of Empoisoners. In his place, I certainly would be. I would be recruiting fucking an Empoisoner and a half every turn, because they are so good, and just assassins in general are so good in Dominions 5. But hey, what do I know? I don't really play Satis much. Satis seems to be somewhat comparable in size to me, but perhaps a little bit more constrained. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 provinces visible. Right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, almost 18 provinces. About to be 19, which will be nice. And 19 provinces, not bad, not shabby. We've gotten there. We're making it. Just need to get that research going. Desperately need to get that research going. So, yeah, by turn 34, 35, I think I should be in a position to go in. These Raksharajas, if I can get them to get up there as quick as possible. Yeah, to actually just move this way. To move up through Saboria, get into Rasenna as quick as possible, start churning out the demons. I will also definitely want to get that temple and a lab, if necessary, built here as fast as I possibly can, so that I can get this Dominion out of here and get my turmoil scales moving. Because I absolutely want to have turmoil before I go in anywhere. I'd also like to have cold, but I don't think I have that option, because my Dominion, of course, is Heat 3. And if I have to choose between fighting in Turmoil 3, Heat 3, and Order 3, Cold 3, I will take Turmoil 3, Heat 3 100% of the time, all the time, forever and ever. Amen. In any case, that is the turn. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 30. Okay, so turn 30, a good time to stop and take stock a little bit. Tianchi has sent me this message. This is kind of a threatening message, but at the same time, we are at peace. We did gang up on Niflheim, and he's talking about grabbing 142. 142 is this throne right here. As I've been saying, I have a real hard time seeing how I am going to take this throne. Because of all the fire damage, basically. My best units are, like, I don't have fire resistance. It's not necessarily about my demons being fire vulnerable, because I'm not really using those demons. It's just that they're not fire resistant, and I don't have a good way to get fire resistance. But if old Tianchi wants to take that throne, that's okay with me. We have a non-aggression pact, if I recall correctly. I think we formalized that a while back. Yes. Well, not really, actually. I'm looking at what we've said. I think he could, with the straight face, make the argument that we don't have a non-aggression pact. So, I'm going to push him on that. To make sure that we have something solidly locked down. Just for what little protection it provides. It's not much, but it is something. Old Tianchi, by the way, has taken quite a grip of land now, as well as another capital, so they're doing very well for themselves. Props to Random Augury for his excellent performance so far. He did take Gorillion this turn as well. There was only one Giga inside, and he just took him with no trouble whatsoever. Sumo Championess has been defeated because I took Rasenna. We don't even need to watch that battle. It was there were 3 Gigas inside. I lost a bunch of troops, mainly Ganas, and a couple of Asrapas, but I took the place pretty easily. Did I retreat details? Who retreated? 4 units retreated. I think 4 of my Ganas ran away. Okay, so that's fine. We killed another Utgard scout with our patrollers. Really should have anticipated that, I think. In Mapito Cliffs, we got a stalker. A stalker washed on shore. So he's a fantastic assassin. Actually, giving him some assassination equipment is probably a good idea. as well as like a handful of acorns or something. I don't know that I can forge... I can forge him a handful of acorns and maybe a barkskin amulet. That would be sort of hilarious. I could also forge him a ring of the warrior, which would be great. So I'll tell you what, I'm actually making a deal. I'm sending 15 nature to Sauromatia in exchange for 45 blood slaves. I already have a lot of blood slaves, obviously, but more doesn't hurt ever. I think I'll also offer to sell him some more gems for... He mentioned that he was selling a dusk dagger, so hold on. Yeah, I think I'll take the dusk dagger too. Okay, so I'll adjust my sale there to get that. I'm not really using nature gems at the moment, so I'll send him some more nature. So yeah, send gems to Sauromatia. I think it's 10. Yeah. Should be 10 more nature to Sauromatia. Okay, so I can give that Dusk Dagger to Pollux, and I can also give him some better armor. Actually, I have Earth. You know what? I have Earth. So what kind of... Why is my mouse going crazy? Sorry, my mouth went completely bonkers for a second there. I could forge him a black steel plate. It would lower his movement, though, with the encumbrance penalty, which I don't really want. What I want is a fairly cheap set of gear that he can have to make him very, very hard to kill. He's already, as I said, he's already naturally ethereal. Stalkers are great for that reason, and can scale walls, and they have huge stealth scores, so they're very unlikely to be found. The things that really help him are better defense skill and better prot to stack with his ethereality. So yeah, we'll sneak back here, and we will have a mage somewhere forge. Gnathri here is the prophet. We've made him our prophet now. So he's going to forge a handful of acorns and ring of the warrior is probably the way to do this, plus the item. So let's forge a handful of acorns, and then let's find somebody who's relatively low research point if we can. They're both busy, so you can forge a ring of the warrior. So that will give Pollux attack skill 19, plus it will increase his morale, and that will let him get his stabs on a little bit better. So that'll be the plan. We'll use him as a high-quality assassin to lead our assaults, and we are building up towards going into our next war. Having taken Rasenna, I would love to actually build a temple here, but I don't have the capacity to do that just yet. So instead, we're going to have Limerick preach. We do have a lab, so my mages are actually just going to research. Well, no, actually, I'll tell you what. Let's have them reanimate some long dead while we're here. Can Limerick reanimate? Limerick cannot reanimate. He is not a reanimator priest. So we're going to have to wait. We are recruiting a Yogini for research reasons. And we'll get a temple there, and we'll start pumping out some more Raktapatas or possibly Kalamukas in order to reanimate better. Reanimate more and better. So, we bounced off this throne, Quedra. They actually did manage to kill the scout, but all that's here, there's only one mage. It's a vampire lord. He has a bunch of blood slaves. He basically spams skeletons. Other than that, it's just basic bitch infantry, including a lot of thralls who are very bad. And then 36 vampires. Now, vampires are decent troops, but mainly because they have the life drain, and then they have 25 prot against mundane attacks. But their attacks are length 0, so they can actually be repelled by anyone with a weapon. So here's the thing. I can just summon a bunch of Ganas and take this province, I think. If I have a bunch of Ganas and a bunch of other troops, I think I get it. Send in some Azrapas, because they all have magical weapons. Azrapas have magical weapons. Ganas have magical weapons, which do 14 damage, and so are very likely to kill vampires with one hit. I can absolutely take this throne with relatively little investment. Like I said, summon a bunch of Azrapas, summon Host of Ganas like 4 times, 3 or 4 times, and I think I'll be good. So, DMX is researching. He's providing a lot of my research, still about 1/5 of my research right now, but my research is starting to go up now, which is great. I got my Mages of Autumn. This one is moving to start site searching for Earth. The Nonstop Pop is site searching. Stainless Steel is site searching. My other Raksharajas are up here. Damn right, Reel and Go Hard. And actually, yeah, I can get there through here. So this is just as far from Quedra as this is. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move them all up here, start pumping out the Azrapas, and then double back around to hit Quedra. And I'm hoping that by the time I get there, Quedra will have turmoil scales on it, because it is in my dominion now. That would be fantastic if I could get some turmoil scales up ins. We'll have Lemuric preaching up here, as I mentioned. Other guys reanimating warriors. Corpses in my capital are going down, and I'm not using them, but that's fine. I did get those underwater mercenaries, those hilariously, weirdly cheap underwater mercenaries. So they are attacking this province together with about 110, almost 120 random assorted undead, which will just kind of chaff for them and absorb the poison attacks and die again, and that'll be fine. Although, actually, you know what? This may sound weird, but I'm actually going to send in the Tritons first, because the Tritons are mercenaries and or underwater only, and so I really don't care if they die. Whereas the Soulless can be used as chaff. So we'll do that. And yeah, site searching, finally getting a little bit of gem income, finally getting a little bit of progress made. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with this. We're doing okay. Gordia's going up there to site search. I should actually be site searching in here as well, so that Yogini will first site search here before he starts researching. And we'll, I think we'll be able to take Quedra and see what this throne is pretty quick. And progress will be made. Progress will definitely be made. Okay, so that's the turn. We're sending our gems over to buy all that stuff. We are preparing for our next moves. We're going to take a second throne, and should be interesting. Thanks for watching. See you next time.